Hello there and welcome to another Robot Wars Unveiled. This time we're back with Series 4 with Heat B. I hope you enjoy. This Heat final formed a grudge match between Pussycat and Razor, with an angry Ian Lewis coining the term Gentleman's Agreement. The first and only 4 occasions where lower seed won the Heat, the others being Heat J, N of Series 4 and Heat G of Series 5. This is the first and only time Razor loses via complete destruction. Other times it has been because of a malfunction in Series 2 or the claw getting stuck onto the ground in Series 3. This is the first and only time where it actually gets completely KO'd by another opponent. Heat B is one of the few Series 4 heats where both the seeds actually meet in the heat final as intended by the seeding program. Razor, Milliambug and Pussycat all met each other previously in Heat D of Series 2. Razor's battle against Robo-Chicken and Velociraptor is available in the raw, unedited cut thanks to the Cut Your Own Battle featurette on the Razor Ultimate Warrior DVD. Before the heat final, Julia Reed mistakenly calls Pussycat's driver David Gribble Robert. Reptiron is the only robot from this heat to not be based on an animal. Coincidentally, both Razor and Pussycat would go on to appear in the sumo together in Heat F. Every team in this heat would go on to win either a tournament or win an award or reach the UK Championship Grand Final. In order to qualify for the series, Velociraptor faced the predecessor to Fluffy called Cherubius, and actually broke the spinning disc, winning the qualifier. Meanwhile, Robo-Chicken had previously attempted to enter the third walls with a robot called Doomsday. In fact, according to Jason Snow, the idea of Robo-Chicken came as a result of the team's failure to qualify with Series 3 with Doomsday, as they thought they needed to be more interesting and visually good for TV. Robo-Chicken was forced out by one of the members after a few beers after he got back from the Series 3 auditions. In the qualifiers, Robo-Chicken faced and beat a robot called the Necromancer. During the opening melee with Razor actually managed to penetrate straight through the entire body of Robo-Chicken, being the only time this has ever happened. In the same opening melee in the raw cut, Robo-Chicken actually broke down at the end, meaning that Razor was the only robot immobile at the end of the battle. In Reptiron's Series 4 appearance, Stuart McDonald mispronounced his name as Reptyron. Stephen Frank did the same as well. Razor was technically over the heavyweight limit at the time. The fight between Milliambug and Razor is Ian Lewis's favourite battle. Pussycat has the distinction of being one of the only robots to both be disqualified from the series and qualify automatically for the following series. Ironically, it qualified automatically for Series 4 by being seeded after being disqualified from Series 3. Milliambug was popular enough to not need to qualify to enter the series, rather it automatically entered by being popular with the production. However, it did attend the live shows. Martin Dawson created small replicas of Milliambug, which were given out in the pits. Milliambug's rear right wheel was destroyed by Pussycat in its first battle of Series 4. Upon being repaired, it was the first to be destroyed by Razor in the following round. Onslaught appears in the episode. Its only other Series 4 appearance would be against Razor, ironically in the Southern Annihilator. In fact, Onslaught was meant to appear in Heat P, the same heat as Hypno-Disc. Ironically, Hypno-Disc appears in this very episode in the pinball, meaning that technically both Hypno-Disc and Onslaught do appear in the arena, just in a different episode. Onslaught is also the only robot which remained in the sumo ring the longest without surviving the full length or defeating Shunt. Theator's loss to Shunt and gaining the worst sumo time is ironic, considering Nemesis, its predecessor, beat Shunt and provided the best performance. And finally, with this being Milliambug's final appearance, Milliambug has the distinction of never receiving a judge's decision. And that is it for today. Series 4 Heat P is a classic episode. Let's be honest now, everyone remembers the Razor versus Pussycat fight. We all know about the ending, the big controversy, but also throughout this episode, Razor's just brutal. The way it, demolishes Robo-Chicken in the first round, and all it does is give a little bite to Velociraptor, and somehow Velociraptor just dies. Then we have the second round battle, which is absolutely fabulous. So, as they say in the Ultimate Warrior DVD, it's like a kid pulling the legs off of a spider or a daddy long legs. It's just cruelty. And it's brilliant. It's hilarious. It's a fantastic fight. The flames as they burst and set fire to Milliambug's hair. Pussycat versus Razor, of course, big controversy at the end. But also, it's a very interesting battle because technically speaking, the Pussycat team did have a point. The wheels were still going, but at the same time, the Pussycat team did just demolish Razor, which, was a bit unfair, all things considered. It's also interesting this is that the only time Razor gets truly damaged or destroyed in a battle, because all the previous battle losses were either because it malfunctioned in Series 2 or, as I mentioned, it got itself stuck in the floor in Series 3. It's funny that people often bring up Razor being unreliable when really it only was unreliable once. The other two times either because it got stuck or because it got destroyed in this case. Ironically, Hypno-Disc is the one that had a lot of reliability problems, as did Chaos 2, but but even then, this is just a great heat. It's funny seeing Dietor in this heat as well. So far, Dietor has appeared most in terms of the other competitive playlists, I've just realised. But it's funny seeing Dietor in this heat, considering they mentioned Dietor during the flashback for Razor, and of course, they're in the same heat together. Sort of. I mean, technically it's a side event, but I digress. Onslaught also appearing in the same heat as Razor, and Hypno-Disc, given the fact that it was meant to fight Hypno-Disc. Very interesting as well. I think that, it's quite funny how this heat manages to connect other robots together, despite the fact that they either did appear later on or they didn't. Every battle in this episode is fantastic, whether it's Pussycat shredding Robo Chicken or slicing apart Reptilion, the flames just bursting out from it, or Razor just picking off Millie Amberg's wheels, demolishing Robo Chicken still somehow surviving, although technically it did break down in the same battle later on. All these great fights, all these great robots. It's sort of like a Vengeance episode as well, with Millie Amberg, Pussycat and Razor in the same heat, which is quite fun to think about. So yeah, overall, this is a fantastic heat. There's a reason why a lot of people consider this one of the greatest episodes of all time. It's one of the most memorable episodes of all time. Truly fantastic from beginning to end. One that you must see. It's great. It's fantastic. It's got everything in it. Truly one of the best, and one of the best Series 4 episodes. Now then, let's see and look at what comes next. Hopefully, it'll be something other than Series 4-1, because I just don't want to do another Series 4-1 episode for a while. Obviously, it's randomized, so let's see. So Extreme 2 is next, and it's the New Blood. In particular, it's Heat A of the New Blood. This might be quite interesting, especially because, I won't lie, the New Blood is not the most interesting competition, sadly. Even though it should have been, it's not. And Extreme 2 is one of my least favourite seasons, so it'll be very interesting to have a look at. We'll see you next time.